Netflix is kind of like the armpit of the anime community. It kind of stinks, and the only real anime fans that watch on there are the freaks. But recently, they've kind of upped their game. They had Cyberpunk release, and that took over the entire community for like 2 weeks. They have Lookism, one of the top manhwas out there, and this random rom-com called Romantic Killer that is absolutely gas, and no one's talking about it. This story follows a girl named Anzu, which like many of us has zero riz and no love life. She simps over 2D characters and would rather sit at home playing video games, eating chocolate, and hanging out with her cat instead of meeting members of the opposite gender, until this magical potato wizard comes out of one of her video games and takes away her 3 greatest desires and won't give them back until she finds love. So in the following days, the potato uses its magic and she forms this harem of guys that are in love with her. First we have the Giga Chad Tsukasa, who's just this misunderstood soul.
Please read my letter. That was really brave of her.
I don't want it.
We have Beta Chad Junta, who may look like a Chad, but he's not. No! Then we have Prince Shrimpy, who radiates the smallest of wiener energy, and the potato in his girl and boy form that make me want to commit war crimes. And despite being surrounded by so many S-tier potential suitors that are all interested in her, she decides that she would rather suffer without any of her greatest desires than give in and fall in love with them because the potato said so. So she purposefully sabotages any advancements that they make or any scenarios that her and one of them could catch feelings for one another. But that's not it. Tsukasa's apartment just happens to flood, and every single other apartment in the town is rented, so he has to move in with her. Then a panty thief breaks in, so Junta's mom tells him to go move in with her. How convenient. And I thought that was going to be the whole story. Potato uses magic, flirty thing happens, girl shuts it down, rinse, repeat. But there was actually character and relationship development. It wasn't just this overbearing love and constant jealous battles and the boys being at each other's throats like we see more often than not in the regular harem series. Instead, they form relationships together and start out as friends and slowly grow for each other like normal people. And since they're all starting out as friends, just having a good time living together, going shopping or hanging out, when you see the sparks starting to fly, you understand why. It's not just this random obsession that spawns from one act of kindness. Tsukasa and Anzu have this blatant chemistry with each other as they go through odd, happy, and hard times. Junta was her childhood friend, but you can see all the fun they had together in the past and now. Shrimpy got his ego hurt and has to fix it. And not only that, we are getting to learn more about all the characters and their past and how they ended up where they are today. Some are more deep than others, obviously, like Tsukasa's traumatic past versus Junta's reason for starting to play baseball.
Good rock at baseball, I bet.
It still adds depth and identity to all the characters, makes us care more for them, unlike all the other trashy rom-coms nowadays. But the characters in this series are a double-edged sword because they what make it great and unbearable at the same time. The show could work amazing with just Tsukasa and Anzu. That's how well they wrote their chemistry, but it gets stale, so that's why the friction and comedy that Junta provide are a great asset to the show. And then obviously the wizard is required to push the story forward into new and quirky scenarios. However, the human forms make you want to punch every child in a 15-mile radius, and Shrimpy here is annoying, but he's also barely in the show despite being a main love interest. Like to the point where I don't even know why they added him. I think he's literally only here to make one plot point happen in the end of the last episode. And besides the characters, this anime is just like all the other trashy rom-coms out there. They used all the same cheesy, overused cliches for falling in love or awkward couple moments in the typical shows. However, since Anzu is self-aware that she's in this real-life reverse harem scenario set up by magic, they are used more for parody comedic purposes than just some overused cliche. And these parody scenarios are only enhanced by the show's insanely goofy, over-the-top animation or art style. And another thing that sets this rom-com apart from others is that characters don't develop amnesia between the episodes. Everything is simply not just ignored in the next episode. The feelings or moments shared between characters are not just forgotten. Sure, something might happen to make someone upset or jealous, but they all understand they're competing for the same girl, so they just move on and try harder. They don't forget, they use it as fuel to encourage them to do better to win her over. Basically, what makes Romantic Killer just so much more refreshing and entertaining than any other rom-com that's released lately is that it does everything so different and doesn't follow the same cookie cutter outline that every other one has lately. So if you want to see a new rom-com that you can binge completely right now, that's refreshing, new, and unique, and has a funny animation and art style, then you have to go check out Romantic Killer on Netflix. And if you enjoyed my review and impressions of Romantic Killer, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out, and make sure you check out my other socials as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.